Welcome to my channel. This is Katrina Sargent, owner and creator of Devil Doll Custom Creations. Today we're going to be doing something super fun. These little lip gloss containers, we're going to glitter them and turn them into adorable keychains. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Like always, I will have everything linked in the description below. First and foremost, you're going to need to order these little lip gloss containers that are shaped like little pencils. I got mine from Amazon. There's probably plenty of places that have them. When you receive them, you'll have a few little pieces that you might not necessarily need. The lip gloss wand, you're going to need to remove out of the cap. It is a little easier if you score it with a craft knife before you try to remove it with pliers. It kind of breaks off a little easier. As long as you don't see it past the threading, you really won't see it unless you have a transparent glitter. So this tutorial, I'm going to be doing two different versions of this pencil. First is going to be a single color with using polyacrylic, and the other one's going to be floating glitter. So I use clear gloss polyacrylic. I found this at Lowe's. You can find them at Walmart, many places. I will say, if you're doing multiple of these keychains, it is easier just to transfer it from one keychain to the other and remove this little cup from the equation, and then from there, the last one, just pour it back into the polyacrylic container you have it in. But it needs to remove all the extra polyacrylic. You're only going to have a very little amount left in these keychains. If you have it too thick or it doesn't dry properly, your glitters won't look even. I then transfer it to another place to let it fully dry upside down. Moving on to the floating glitter keychain. This is vegetable glycerin and water mixed. It is half and half. I mix my glitters into this glycerin mix in a separate cup. It just kind of coats the glitters and it lets the glitters move a little freely compared to putting the glitters in the keychain and then pouring the glycerin mix on top. The amount of glitters you add into your glycerin mix is going to be based on your preference of how full you want your keychains to look. Now, once your polyacrylic is transparent, that means you're not going to see any white like you did when you first added it to the keychain. It's going to be a slight tint, but it's not white. So I just kind of dab off and remove any extra that might be on that edge. And then you just pour the glitter in, shake it up so glitter attaches to all of the polyacrylic that's left in the keychain, and then dump out the extra. It is super easy. And then you just set this off to the side to let the polyacrylic fully dry. Moving back to the floating glitter keychains, you're going to need to plug up that little hole in those caps, or your glycerin mix and glitter will move into your cap. I just took a little hot glue gun and filled in that little hole. Don't go too far if you go from the inside. If you did not remove all of that lip gloss stick from the cap. It has to go inside this to close. So I do add a little bit on the outside and then a very little bit on the inside. But like I said, if you remove the stick completely, you don't have to worry about this. But I didn't, so it won't let you put the top back on if you go too thick. And then before I add the cap and the little plug, I just make sure I like how my glitter is shifting. If it's too full of glitter, I just pour it back into the container and add some more plain glycerin water mix and shake it up, see how that looks. This is exactly how I do my floating glitter makeup brushes and floating glitter pins, things like that. It's a lot of back and forth until you're happy with it, and it completely depends on your aesthetic, what you are actually looking for. I personally like a little bit more glycerin than some, just so it shifts a little bit more. Once you're happy with it and you shake it around, you're going to need to remove any glitter that could be on that top area before you add your plug into the keychain. Now it's time to add the caps to your keychains. You can use whatever glue you would like. I was just seeing if these glues worked as well as epoxy or UV resin. First, you're going to need to clean off those threads to make sure everything adheres properly. These glues actually worked well. I didn't have anything fall apart or anything. They worked as well as epoxy actually did. I do say the super glue though, if you get it too close to the bottom edge, it kind of makes the acrylic keychain like a foggy color, so don't get it too close to the bottom threads is the only advice I can give on that, because everything else worked beautifully. Now the single colors, you don't have to add that little cap in there. You can just add your top. You don't have to add anything else to this, which is really nice. And now for the sayings. I printed these out on clear water slide. They're just little teacher saying, best teacher ever, A+ teacher, blessed teacher. The font is Impact. The size is the exact same on all of them. The links just change. So just cut it as close to the letters as possible. Add it to a container of water. I personally like these white gloves. You can use a coffee filter. You can use any kind of rag you want. Once your water slide lifts from the backing, you're then going to place it on the pencil itself. I found the perfect way to turn these. This is a flower insert I used to use for my pens. They have these little cutouts that fit wonderfully on these pencils. It is amazing. These pencils are not moving at all. So if you're going to want to epoxy the cap, this might not work. But I just tape off the cap leaving a little bit of area opened to get a good seal. And then I just put it right into this flower insert. Like I said, I will have this in the description. This is water slide, so you just need to make sure you get all of the air and water from under that water slide and then set it off to dry. The direction of saying is basically preference. If you're wanting it bottom to top or top to bottom, I have them both ways. So I'm going to show you how one of the ways how I color that black lead part of the pencil. This is just black acrylic paint and a paintbrush. It is super easy. I do a different version in my next advanced video on these pencil keychains that will be coming in the next couple weeks. When I tape these off, I'm taping off and leaving a little sliver of the cap open to get a full seal of that edge when I epoxy or Brite tone, which is the next step. So when I'm doing these, I want to do like ultra thin coats because I don't want it to be too heavy. So I do multiple coats of these super thin coats. If you're kind of heavy handed, you might not have to do as many, but once everything's dry, you need to make sure all your water slides and your paint for the lead is dry before you even move on to this step. So what I do is I just kind of put some on my hand and then make sure everything's coated correctly, and then add them to that flower insert and then let it turn until it's cured, or you can do the next coat. I will say be careful not to get anything on your tape part that you're putting in the flower insert. If you get any on there, take a baby wipe and wipe it off before you put it on the turner. So then to make this a keychain, I just took my smallest drill bit and I drill a hole right in the middle. So I forgot to videotape this. That pink part comes off. You're going to need to glue that down before you move on to this step. And then I take these little eye hooks, little screws that have a little circle on the top, and add some glue and thread it into that hole I drilled in. I will say super glue didn't work on this section because if it comes out that top when you're screwing it in, it did change the color of the pink to like a white milky color. It was not very pretty. So this glue worked, and epoxy would work. Any glue that you glue your rhinestones on your tumblers, anything like that. If you have any come out that edge, just take a Q-tip and some alcohol and clean it up before it dries. And then here I have a bunch of stuff for other keychains that I've collected over the years. You just need a keychain loop and some jump rings, different sizes, a tassel if you want them, anything to decorate your keychain now. I found these adorable teacher charms. They are just so cute. One's a little pencil, one's an apple, one's a dry erase board, and they all say like #1 teacher or best teacher. I'm going to save those for my other ones that have sayings on this. This one I'm going to be doing more of a pride since it's just yellow. The possibilities are endless. If you have anything fun or you don't have to make them teacher related. So you can use really any size of jump ring you would like. I don't really like the super small ones. I do think they bend and they change shape really easy. So I kind of use the medium sized ones majority of the time. And then you just attach whatever decorations you're wanting on your keychain from here. I really hope everyone liked this tutorial. Like I said, this is just the basics of how to do these keychains. I will be having an advanced video coming out, so stay tuned for that. Please like, share, subscribe. It means the world to me. And if you have any questions, please write them in the comments. I do write back. I do have a Facebook group, Devil Doll Community. You can join, show off your crafts, ask questions.